it's really hard to say when something first started.
Sure.
But what we can do is we can say these people were using it in the early 70s. They can prove they were using it in the early 70s. They have a story for why they came up with the term, and they have a story for how it spread, and it's all plausible. If anybody else comes up with any evidence that they were using it before 1971, then I'm willing to revise the piece.
It's hard to get a definitive account from a stoner, though. Can you really trust these stories?
Well, sure. That's why you need physical evidence, and so and these guys have it. The story that they tell, and these guys call themselves the Waldos because every day at 4:20, because school got out at 3:30, then they had some type of sports practice, and they'd meet at a wall at 4:20, and then they would go hunting for this one particular crop of weed that was growing somewhere in like the Point Reyes forest or something like that. And they had been given a treasure map by a friend of theirs' brother-in-law who was in the Coast Guard and had left. He'd planted his crop and they were planning on reaping it.
It was just lore that this was out there.
Well, wasn't quite lore. There was definitely a Coast Guard person and there was definitely a brother-in-law, and there was definitely a treasure map to where this crop had been planted. So they never ended up finding it. So maybe it never really existed. Maybe he just tossed the seeds and hoped it grew. It's quite an easy thing to miss in a giant forest. But every day they would go out and they'd go hunting for this, and they would say in the hallway, "Do you want to go look today?" And the guy'd say 4:20, and that would mean they'd meet at 4:20 at this wall, and that gradually spread. So people started using it just as a generic term for 4:20 because it's convenient for an illegal activity and for something that you want to hide from your parents.
Sure, no one at school knows who you're talking about.
To have a way to talk about it.